Everyone, please excuse the attire because I'm in a pajama top. I just decided to throw on a cardigan. So I wanted to make a video today because I just thought I would chat to you guys because I like doing stuff like that. I really enjoy these little chatty videos where I just ramble on about stuff and then you guys comment stuff afterwards, and because I love reading the comments. So about 5 or 6 years ago, I actually, and I'm really excited to say this, I actually saved my dad's eyesight twice. I saved a vision in each of his eyes individually, and probably, the thing is, he says that, but I don't really think I did. So the title is a little bit misleading because I don't think I did, and you guys can make your decision afterwards as to whether you think I did or not, but I don't think I really did anything. But my dad always tells his friends, my daughter saved my eyesight in both eyes, and without her, I wouldn't have vision and blah, 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 and he's just like really, really proud of me. And what actually happened was, and the reason I thought about this is because I was making a video about revision tips and exam tips a little while back, and I talked about revising with my dad because my dad was like really, really, really like a saint when it came to my revision when I was at university. And what I would do is I would use him to explain eye diseases and stuff too. One day I was revising, and I was revising with my dad, and I was trying to explain to him what a cataract was, and I was trying to explain to him what a retinal detachment was, and I was trying to explain to him why people get flashing lights and floaty bits and stuff in their vision and all of this kind of stuff. So I will explain what happened to my dad like in just a second, but the inside of your eyeball has a layer right at the back, which you can see when the optician looks inside your eye. The optician can actually see this layer on the back of your eye. And this is the bit where they get really, really close and they have a look inside your eye and they just check the retina. So the retina, if you imagine the eye a little bit like a camera, the retina is almost like the film. So without the film, you can't see any images because you need the film. So if you imagine your eyeball, you know, this is the kind of eyeball from the side, and that's like the front of the eye. So this is like the retina at the back, and it's just like a layer that sort of coats the back of the eye. It's like a lining that just goes to the back of the eye. So if there is ever a problem with somebody's retina, generally, depending on the position of it, it will generally affect their sight in some way. So if the retina starts to come off, the person will start losing their vision, like slowly, 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 the vision will start like disappearing. And this is almost like a little warning video for people as well, like in case anything like this happens to you in your family, like you guys know what to do straight away. My dad, like one day, he came home from work, and I think I'd only been qualified like maybe a year. I'd only just been qualified a year. I hadn't been an optician that long. And my dad came home one day from work and he said to me, Trisha, about like yesterday, I started noticing this like little dark shadow in my vision at the bottom. And today, like the shadow's getting bigger. And I was like, okay, where is this shadow? And he's like, well, when I look straight ahead, I can see everything. But I'm getting this big like shadow that looks like a balloon, like down at the bottom of my vision. And I said, but you can still see. And he said, yeah, I can still see. I said, have you got any like black floaty bits moving around? He's like, yeah, I've got quite a few of those, but I've always had them. And I said, have they got worse? And he said, well, yeah, I can see like black floaty bits, but I can see really clearly, like in front of me, like I can see you really clearly. And I was like, okay, I didn't actually have any of my equipment at home with me because obviously all my equipment was left at work. So I said to my dad, right, you need to come into work tomorrow morning and you need to come and see me straight away. And this was like 11 o'clock at night, so there was nothing really I could do at that time. So I said to him the next day, like, come and see me at work. Don't make an appointment, just come in and I'll just have a look just to make sure. And he came into work and I sat him down on the chair. I hadn't put any drops or anything in his eyes. I literally just sat him down and I checked the vision on the chart. And he could still see the chart like absolutely fine with this eye. I can't remember which eye he was complaining about. I think it might have been the right one. So he said, yeah, no, I can see the chart, but this bubble is like just here. And I said, well, can you see through the bubble? He's like, no, it's kind of dark. And I was like, but everything above it is okay. And then he said, yeah. So then I said, have you had any flashing lights or anything? And he said, no, just this bubble and these floaty bits. And I was like, oh my God, okay. So I had a look in the back of his eye, and what I could see was the retina like peeling down like wallpaper. So you've got the eyeball here again, and this layer that coats the back was like starting to peel off. So it was kind of like hanging down. And I was like, oh my God, like your retina is like peeling off. And I'm not joking. It looked like wallpaper, like peeling off somebody's wall. And I was absolutely terrified because I'd never seen a retinal detachment like that before. Like, I'd seen one before, and the lady came in with basically no symptoms. She just said, oh, this eye's a bit blurry, and that was her symptom. So I thought, oh, maybe it's a prescription, maybe she's got cataracts, maybe something's wrong with her. And I literally looked inside my dad's eye, and within about 7 seconds I went, Dad, you need to have some surgery today, like right now. We need to get you to the hospital, and we need to have some surgery done right now. So I was shaking because it was my dad. I was absolutely terrified. So I went outside the room and I spoke to my boss, because obviously, remember, I hadn't been qualified that long. So I just wanted her to have a look at it. She had a look and she was like, oh my God. And then another few colleagues came in and had a look, and they were like, oh my God, we've never seen anything like this before. And so I phoned the hospital and I said to the consultant on the phone, like, look, my dad's been in, he's had problems with his eyes before, he's had cataracts removed, and now he's got this massive detachment. And the guy said, you know, just put some drops in for me. Can you bring him in right now? And I said, yes, I can. So I was shaking and I was terrified. I phoned the hospital and I said to my dad, right, you need to ring mum now. You need to tell her you're not going back to work. You need to tell her that she's got to come to work like right now, and she's got to just stay in the shop for the rest of the day. And I need to take you to the hospital. So I checked with my boss. My boss was like, no, go, that's fine. Take him to the hospital. And as soon as we got there, the consultant had a look and he said, yep, sir, you need to have surgery done right now on your eyes, otherwise you could lose your sight. So he had the surgery done. He had to do all this like posturing. So he had to lay on his front for like 15 minutes, stand up for 15 minutes, turn to that side 15 minutes, and then turn to that side 15 minutes. And he had to do that for 6 weeks. So he was off work for like a month and a half, and he was really bored and he was really stressed. And the consultant said, when I spoke to him, he said that he probably thought it started a few days ago, that actually in that time it had got slightly worse. So he thinks it started like 3 or 4 days ago and it gradually just got worse. And he asked my dad, so he said 3 or 4 days ago, did you get like a sudden onset of these black floaty bits? And my dad said, yeah, but I've always had floaty bits, so I never thought anything of it. So everybody that gets any sudden floaty bits in their vision, when there's lots of them, please go and see your optician straight away, because they could potentially save your sight. And then about a year later, my dad was at work and he was putting some money like in the till, and he suddenly got a whole cloud of floaty bits in the other eye. So he went, oh my God, I've got floaty bits. My daughter told me to come straight in. And he came in. This time the retina hadn't detached, but it had torn. So when I looked in, it wasn't as noticeable as the time before, because he'd come in like as soon as the symptoms started. But I dilated his pupil so I could have a really good look inside, and then I got him to look up and I could see like this tear like right at the top of his retina. So theoretically, it was only a matter of time before the retina started like unpeeling itself again. So same thing happened again, phoned the same consultant, said it's happened in the other eye, like, can you come and see us? And I'd confirmed it because I could see this tear at the top of his eye. And there's no pain. This time there was no shadow, just lots of little floaty bits in the vision. And so when we got to the consultant the second time, he went, yeah, this is a lot harder to see than the first one. But, and then this is when he said to my dad, but if it wasn't for your daughter, like, you potentially could have lost your sight in the other eye, because she got you to come in quite quickly. And I think because there was no pain, my dad would have happily left it for like a few days again. But now he tells his friends like the same thing, like, if you ever get any like sudden floaty bits or shadows or anything in your vision, like, go straight away to see the optician. And it is much more common if you're short-sighted. So if you're like a minus prescription, you are much more at risk of getting one of these tears or detachment. And the reason for that is if you're short-sighted, your eye is actually slightly longer in shape, which means your retina is slightly more stretched out, so you're more at risk of having like a tear or a detachment in the retina. Not to say that it can't happen if you're long-sighted, but if you're short-sighted, I would just be a little bit more aware of it and don't bungee jump and stuff like that, because apparently that can make it worse. That is what the surgeon told me, because there's a really strong history of like detached retinas in my family. Like, my dad's had it, his brothers had it, his sisters had it, and it's just quite scary. So with me and my family, it's something that we know about, it's something that we're aware of, and something that I will definitely talk to patients about if I think they're at risk. So if I think everybody in their family is short-sighted and they've got detached retinas in the family, people have had them in the past, and I always give them the signs to look for, because potentially if I can save one person's sight by making this video, I will be a very happy girl. So yeah, if you get any sudden onset of like black floaty bits or flashing lights or a big shadow in your vision or a curtain or a bubble or a dark shadow or something like that around the edges of your vision, like please go and see the optician straight away. I would love to be all of your opticians, but I can't be. But just make sure that you go and see your optometrist like as soon as anything changes. But yeah, my dad was so excited. Like he has now like perfect vision in both eyes because the consultant like caught the first one like just about early enough to save his sight, and the second one like was caught much earlier, so he's not having any problems with that eye at all. But the only side effect he's got with the first one is that he can still see that slight shadow on the bottom where the retina had completely come off, but because they had to laser it and where the detachment had happened, he still gets a very slight shadow, but he says it's not as noticeable as when he had it because effectively they just stuck the wallpaper back on again. So because there's no pain or redness or anything like that associated with it, people don't think to actually come in and have it checked. But with your eyes, like you only get 2 eyes, so if you have any problems with your eyes, like please go and see your optician, because it terrifies me when people come in and they say, oh yeah, my eye's been red for like 5 weeks and I've just decided to come in and see you, because you know, a lot of these things can be resolved if people come in early enough, and unfortunately people get very scared when it comes to their eyes and they don't want to come in because they think it's just going to go away, and of course then the problem just gets slightly worse. So my dad actually bought me like a handbag to say thank you. Like he was so cute. He's like, what shall I buy you? You can have anything you want. And at the time it was like 5 years ago and Juicy Couture was quite popular. I really regret it now. Like I really wish I hadn't got it. I don't use the bag because I'm really quite embarrassed to like take it out anywhere, but he spent like, it was like a reduced as well, it's like £128 or something, and I feel really bad. So I might actually give it away because I don't really want it anymore. So I want to thank everyone for watching this video. My job is so satisfying. I get so much satisfaction from my job and what I do, and I absolutely love it. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. And I don't have a bra on, so I can't get too high in this video, so I think I'll just stay here and like just cover everything.